Which fictional death hit you the hardest? Brooks in Shawshank Redemption. Brooks was here. Dr. Mark Green ER, Charlie Lost. I've been rewatching Lost, and his death is just so tragic. Desmond tells Charlie that he has to drown so Claire and Aaron can be saved, and then Claire isn't even saved. Charlie leaves his D's ring in Aaron's crib, but Claire doesn't even find it. Then Charlie gives Desmond his greatest hits list, where meeting Claire is number 1 on the list, and she never even gets that. It's just all so tragic and sad. Spock. Saw it in the theater. Didn't know it was Cameen. No internet spoilers back then lol. For me this is a double cry. First when he actually dies. And second when Kirk's voice breaks when he says, "Greater than of all the souls I have encountered in my travels, his was the most human." When Thomas died in My Girl and when G-Baby died in Hardball. No tears, just fucked up ways to go so young. Not technically a death, but when Wally's memory banks got fried at the end, I felt that in my soul. Thankfully Pixar would never leave us on a note like that, but damn. That little robot moved me so much. Boromir from Boromir's arc was great because he was the hero of Gondor and the point of his story was to show that even the best of men could fall to the ring, but he redeemed himself in the end. John Coffey, don't put me in the dark. I's afraid of the dark. Mordin Solus in Mass Effect 3. Had to be me. Someone else might have gotten it wrong. The very model of a scientist Solarian. Vincent Nigel Murray, Bones, please don't make me leave. When I was a small child, my father invented stories about a truck that worked hard and drove challenging roads all over the world. Then, he ran out of stories, and sent the truck to the junkyard. Made me very sad as a small child who loved trucks at age 66, makes me sad to remember. Could make a great children's book/show. Sirius Black. As a kid, I lived through Harry vicariously, as he seemed to go through bad shit just like me. But unlike me, he suddenly had a father figure who loved him, didn't treat him like a child, someone Harry finally felt owed him as a parent unconditionally. Seeing that particular safety violently yanked from Harry, Madame put the book down for a few days. Send me out, with a bang, Sergeant Avery Johnson. For all you greenhorns who wanted to see Covenant up close, today is your lucky day. Arthur Morgan, he was the best cowboy. He only wanted what was best for the gang, and his sickness made him realize that there was no way out. He had to save who he could. Wash in Serenity. I am a leaf on the wind. The hardest thing about that one is that it's all so sudden. He's dead before you even realize what just happened, and suddenly they have to jeet forward there cause the Reavers are coming. Mal has to drag Zoe away cause she's in total disbelief and trying to get Wash out of the chair. Her response was really great acting, too. The simple refusal to accept that he's dead, that somehow all he needs is to wake up. The first 20 minutes of Up. I'm still scarred. Prim. Threw the book across the room. What was this all for? Atreu's horse Artax. A detail not in the movie from the book is that Artax actually speaks and begs to be left to die in it. Yup. And Atreu honored his wishes and walked away. Reread that as an adult and was like, fuck, that's one hell of a metaphor for mental illness. Whole fucking book was just one metaphor after another. Was Michael Ender just not okay or something? John Coffey, The Green Mile. A sweet and innocent soul, blessed, or cursed, with the gift of sight. Sight into people's hearts and minds. He was accused of murder, having come across the bodies of 2 murdered children, whom he had tried to save. He healed and eased others' suffering by taking it into himself. The scene where he is in the electric chair, terrified, and everyone is watching with accusatory eyes. The guards know of his innocence and are heartbroken because there is nothing they can do. That scene gets me every time. Michael Clarke Duncan was a magnificent pick for the troll. Brendan Fraser in Scrubs. The saddest part is how Dr. Cox handles it. You're not used to seeing him vulnerable. You told me the second you start blaming yourself for things that happen here, there's no coming back. Greater than yeah. I know. Every thread that asks this sort of question gets the same answer from me. Leslie from Bridge to Terabithia. I think the most accurate description for me was shocked. Did not see it coming at all, and they did a good job getting you invested. The innocence of it all just made it that much worse. Granny Weatherwax from Terry Pratchett's Discworld. It was the last novel and released just after his death. Granny dying mirrored that Terry was in fact gone too. Such a magnificent author. The resemblance is made even more apparent by Granny being a witch, meaning that she knows she's about to die. She sees it coming and calmly prepares for it. I imagine Terry writing this scene, knowing full well his own life was coming to an end very soon. In a sense, he wrote this scene about himself. He is Granny, feeling death closing in on him and calmly preparing for his departure. Bob from Percy Jackson House of Hades. Hit me like a truck when I read it the first time. Tell the stars hello for me. Hank from Breaking Bad. Dude started the series as a stereotypical meathead that I thought I was gonna hate, but had one of the biggest character arcs besides Walt and Jesse. By the end I was rooting pretty hard for him. Imagine finding out someone close to you was a major drug lord if you were a D agent Earl. That would have to be awful and embarrassing. Edit, thanks for the gold whoever did it. He was mid-speech when it happened too. That doesn't happen to the good guys. Do what you're gonna bang. Sarah from The Last of Us. Joel's reaction gets me every time. One of the best opening to a game. In the first 10 minutes you know pretty much everything you need to know about Joel, as well as setting up the tone for the rest of the game. Sweets from Bones. Did not see that coming. My sister refuses to watch Bones anymore because of Sweet's death. See more butts. God damn you, Futurama. Why you gotta make me feel the feels? Oh god yes. And the little montage they had of him waiting for Fry. It's the montage that's potentially the saddest thing I've ever watched. And I refuse to watch it again. Not worth it. I read Where the Red Fern Grows as a teen. When the dog Old Dan died after saving Billy from a mountain lion. Followed by the other dog Little Anne of a broken heart. I was inconsolable. Not sure if this should be an apology or an appreciation edit. I would like to thank everyone for the fantastic response. I stayed up late reading the comments and blowing my nose. I feel a connection of sorts with each of you. I'm 40-ish years old and am surprised that the book is still messing with kids' innocence. We read that book in school. Teacher had to have us read that chapter because she couldn't do it. It had been part of the school book list like forever. She had to have read that book like 20 times, and still couldn't hold it together. Edit seems like this is a nationwide thing. Unless everyone here went to / taught at Jim Bridger Elementary circa 1996. My husband decided this book would be a good bedtime book to read over the course of a couple weeks with the kids. I objected, because I'd read the book and I knew how it ended. He read the whole book except for the last part where the dogs died. He couldn't do it. I'm the hard ass that had to step in, put myself in auto mode, and read the words. 5 kids and 1 husband crying, and I'm trying to hold it together. I still love the book, but I know I can never read it again. Charlotte in Charlotte's Web. It's been 40 years and I still can't even think about it without getting choked up. Edit, wow, this blew up. Thanks, everyone, especially for the silver. I was in the back of our big green 1972 station wagon when I finished the book, and I remember so very clearly what a complete wreck I was. Glad to know I'm not alone, but her little spiderlings are out there at least. OP in Sons of Anarchy. This one is way too far down. That scene was rough.